The toughest mercenaries on the planet fall into an unknown location. As they bond, they realize something is hunting them, which in this case is terrible for them because it's predators, an alien race whose favorite sport is tracking and tearing apart each of these crazies. That's the story of Predators, a 2010 movie, and as always, we'll highlight the mistakes and discuss the best decisions that would certainly help the characters or you to get out of this. But before that, leave your like and let's get into the video. Mercenary Royce is dropped into an unknown forest along with Mexican Cuchillo and soldier Nikolai. They are approached by sniper Isabel, who was also dropped there. She mentions having spotted more parachutes and everyone heads in the direction indicated by Isabel. Hanzo, a member of the Yakuza, appears and after taking off his stylish shoes decides to follow them. But doing so doesn't seem like the best choice, especially being in a forest full of various types of insects, animals, and poisonous plants. And being barefoot would only make everything more difficult. The group encounters two more men, African Mombasa and Stans, a fugitive wanted by the FBI, who reveals having seen another person trapped in a tree. Royce frees him and he introduces himself as Edwin. Still dazed, he says he is a doctor and was on his way to work when, similarly to the others, he was mysteriously transported to that place. Okay, in a situation like this, the best strategy is to try to determine your current location, and climbing to a high point like a tree or a mountain can be useful to get a broad view of the area and identify towers or cities where you can seek help. Having a compass can be extremely helpful, but if you don't have one, you can improvise using a leaf and a branch in the water. But forget about that. The group finds a strange structure next to human bones, and suspecting who could have done this, Mombasa suggests that the skulls are trophies of some hunter, increasing the group's fear. But Royce takes the lead, emphasizing the need to find a way out, and as he ventures further into the forest, Nikolai almost touches a poisonous plant, but Edwin warns him in time that it's a paralyzing toxin, which, in my opinion, considering that something sinister inhabits that forest, responsible for the found remains, this toxin could be a valuable resource if used as a weapon, thus increasing their chances of survival. However, they don't collect a sample of the plant and decide to just take a break. During this rest, Isabel draws Royce's attention to an anomaly in the magnetic field, demonstrating how an improvised compass behaves strangely in the water. Royce also notices that the sun doesn't seem to have moved since they arrived at the location. Furthermore, he analyzes the profiles of the group members and realizes that they all have criminal backgrounds, which leads him to suspect that they were selected for something very concerning. As they continue to walk through the forest, they come across structures resembling empty cages, indicating that something fierce was loose there, and they soon realize it's not just one cage, but several. Much tenser and cautious, they explore the area, and suddenly they stumble upon deadly traps that almost seriously injure them. The group comes across the body of a man, suggesting that the traps found were of his making. Nikolai finds a book on the corpse, revealing that the deceased was a member of the United States Special Forces on a mission to capture a previously unknown creature. It becomes clear that what killed the man was highly intelligent, as it managed to attack the soldier without triggering any of the traps, suggesting it wasn't human. Therefore, the best option would be to proceed with caution for now, as there are several traps scattered in the area. They venture further into the forest and come across something frightening. Evidently, they are not on planet Earth, possibly on a planet near Jupiter, as one of the planets exhibits characteristics very similar to those of Jupiter. Therefore, the only way to leave this place would be through a spaceship, and depending on the speed of the ship, it would take about 1 to 2 years to return to planet Earth, which is highly unlikely, as probably no one there knows how to pilot a spacecraft. But considering that someone transported them to this planet in a spaceship, the best option would be to search for a military base or something similar and find their ship. As they return to the forest, everyone hears a noise approaching rapidly, and several creatures advance towards them. They open fire and manage to eliminate some creatures. However, Isabel is surrounded by the creatures, and with imminent death approaching and her ammunition running out, she decides to give up. But a sudden whistle sound echoes, and the creatures retreat. Okay, although Isabel is clearly frightened and doesn't understand what's happening, her skill as a sharpshooter gives her the ability to easily neutralize the creature with a single shot. and even if that's not enough, she could delay the monster, allowing her to seek someone with ammunition. Speaking of ammunition, it's evident that these creatures are incredibly resilient, and using up all the ammunition would be a waste, as they'll still need it. Therefore, they could have saved at least the ammunition from the most powerful weapon Nikolai had, a minigun with a magazine capacity of 4,500 rounds, and when used strategically, this weapon could eliminate multiple aliens, and would certainly be great help if larger creatures appeared. As for the whistle's sound, it became evident that these creatures were being controlled by another being. Experiencedly, Royce deduced that they were being hunted, and that the planet indeed was some sort of hunting reserve. However, they noticed the absence of Cuchillo, whose cries for help were heard by everyone. The group finds him sitting with his back to them, but Royce quickly realizes it's a trap. Reluctantly, they realize there was nothing more they could do for him, and left him for Isabel to end Cuchillo's suffering. However, he was already dead, as his pleas for help continued even after the shot, and it was evident that something was watching Isabel. Faced with the threat of being hunted, Royce chose to track the hunter, using the creature's footprints as a guide, which led them to some kind of camp. Tension escalated when they found a strange creature, seemingly trapped and alive. An invisible force attacks Mombasa, unleashing a terrible confrontation, in which it was discovered that the creatures had the ability to become invisible and shoot lasers. The group began to flee, pursued by the creatures until they fell into a river, at which moment the true form of the creatures was revealed. Concerned about what she had witnessed, Isabel mentioned a case that occurred in 1986 in the first Predator movie, where a group of elite soldiers was sent into the jungle, with only one surviving. In her account, she described the characteristics of the creatures called predators, which were very similar to the ones they had just encountered, with camouflage and infrared vision. Worried, they decided to devise a plan, and Royce had a bold idea. He asked Edwin to run to attract the attention of the predators. The doctor was almost captured, but a precise shot eliminated the threat, revealing that it wasn't a predator, but something even stranger. They praised Isabel for her accurate shot, but she insisted she had missed, and suddenly an invisible creature became visible before them. A man named Noland, who wore the armor and weapon of the aliens. The man led everyone to a type of abandoned spaceship where he explained that the predators were hunters who enjoyed hunting humans as a sport, and they arrived in an invisible spaceship located near their hunting camp. Royce asked how to defeat them, and Nolan, despite revealing he had defeated 2 predators, couldn't answer and only explained that he didn't know how to leave the reserve, hinting that it was endless. While resting later, they saw smoke. Nolan started a fire, aiming to suffocate the group, but Royce reacted with a grenade which drew the attention of a predator who attacked Nolan. The group escaped through the corridors of the spaceship, but Edwin got separated and encountered the creature. However, he was saved at the last moment thanks to Nikolai, but the soldier couldn't escape, and without much thought, Nikolai made a sacrifice by detonating the creature. Okay, I understand that when facing aliens, any help is important, but Noland was exhibiting clear symptoms of schizophrenia, like talking to himself and hearing unreal voices, and considering that, the group should remain alert regarding Noland. Outside the spaceship, the group felt safe until Stans was shot by another predator. Even wounded, he faced the creature, striking it repeatedly with his knife, which wasn't enough to stop it, but the group managed to escape while the creature dispatched him. However, another predator was closely pursuing them, and as they headed towards the spaceship Nolan mentioned, Hanzo decided to stay and fight, giving the others a chance to escape, and using a sword he found in the ship, Hanzo faced the predator. The remaining survivors continued to run, but Edwin got caught in a trap and was severely injured, and pleading for help, Isabel decided to stay to assist him. Royce headed to the predator's camp where he found the creature tied up and after freeing it, asked for its help to leave the planet. The predator briefly assessed him, and then donned its armor, becoming similar to the other predators, and later calculated the route of the ship towards planet Earth. Royce rushes to the ship, while the 2 predators face off, eventually overpowering and decapitating the other predator, before using its wrist computer to destroy the ship, apparently killing Royce. Meanwhile, Edwin reveals his true nature by paralyzing Isabel with the toxin from the previously discovered plant, revealing himself as a determined serial killer to remain on the planet. Okay, Isabel was aware that everyone there had committed some sort of crime, including Edwin, and considering that, the most sensible choice would be not to trust anyone and always try to do everything to survive. That way, she should have accompanied Royce to the ship, but forget about that. When Edwin was about to attack Isabel, Royce appeared, and upon seeing him, Edwin acted normally as a good doctor. However, while the mercenary took care of Isabel, Edwin behaved strangely, raising suspicions in Royce, who quickly paralyzed him with his own blade. After using Edwin's body as bait, Royce set a trap for the predator, which ended up being cornered by explosions. Nevertheless, the confrontation continued, with Royce taking advantage of the fire to remain hidden and attack the predator. However, he was located through his heartbeat, but Isabel, still with symptoms of the toxin, managed to hit the creature, allowing Royce to turn the tide and defeat the predator. At dawn, they both witnessed parachutes and cages descending into the forest, indicating that the hunting season was about to begin again. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and share in the comments how you would win this movie. Don't forget to subscribe for more adventures, and until next time.